Hey everybody, it's question time. This is from Spider Neil, and this person is asking, would love to hear your thoughts on how you can enjoy cerebral independent movies but can still watch Hollywood blockbusters. Normally the indie crowd despises big budget movies and vice versa. I like you, Spider Neil. To me this is a very tricky one just because so many people fight over one over the other, and the debate between them gets very nasty, unnecessarily nasty. It's like anyone who has a favorite movie or a favorite song, whatever, if somebody else doesn't like it, they take it so personally. It's like they're fighting over their favorite football team or whatever for the Super Bowl. And for me, I find that to be a kind of a big problem, because the moment that you start to generalize and categorize types of movies and dismiss them in that way, I think that you start to dismiss the person, and then you start to kind of fault them for what they're liking, and I think there's really no reason for that. And it kind of, to me, saturates the culture. I mean, labels are good in some instances, but a lot of the time I think they really just categorize us and make us very black and white. Everyone is entitled to like what they like. Just because everybody else likes something does not mean that you have to like it. And even if somebody likes a movie that you think is terrible, does not make them ignorant. And, you know, they just have different tastes. And some people just don't take movies quite as seriously as other people do. There's nothing wrong with that. And while, yes, I do agree that a person's taste does say a lot about who they are and like the personality that they have, it does not define them. I have a lot of friends that are a lot smarter than I am, and they like movies that I think are terrible, and then they make fun of me for being like the art snobs. I think that if we could just learn to appreciate all kinds of different types of movie making and realize that all of them have their pros and cons, then I think that collectively as a society we would be so much happier and so much more peaceful, and I like my happy place. For me, everything in life is about finding balance. I kind of use that almost like my mantra. I feel like if you have balance in life, you'll be able to go pretty far and do pretty well. I can like my experimental rock albums or, you know, my psychedelic jazz, whatever, and then I can, if you play Lady Gaga, it's very likely that I will grind on you. And the same goes for movies. I can watch more avant-garde films like 8.5 or Persona, but I can every once in a while watch Spider-Man or X-Men and get a real kick out of it. Yes, I do prefer one over the other, but I think that too much of one or the other can get monotonous. I do like films that go against the norm and do question our world and put things in a perspective that is very creative and that makes me think about things in a kind of a very different way, just because that's my personality. I don't really go with the mainstream. That's just not who I am. But there is a certain satisfaction in watching something that is less freeform. And for me, I think it keeps me grounded and gives me a more versatile perspective on things. And I don't care how hipster you claim that you are or how against the grain you want to be, there's always going to be a part of everyone that likes to maintain control in their lives. And this can mean you like to tie your shoes a certain way, or you like to have the same breakfast every morning. And some people just like to have their movies very cut and dry, beginning, middle, and end. They like to have full closure because it gives you a sense of control. And I can respect that. If that's what movies are for you, then great. And not only that, but I just find mainstream movies fascinating, like from like a cinephile's point of view, because for me, it's fun to just kind of peek over the shoulder of the mainstream movie audiences every now and then and see kind of how mainstream movies are handling certain archetypes and certain stories that have been told for years and years, pretty much in the same way, and how they slowly develop depending on how our culture is seeing society. I'll just use superhero movies as an example, but if we were to see a movie with a superhero that is played by somebody that is not a young, strong, white male protagonist, then I'm gonna watch it. Like if we have a female superhero or somebody of a different race or someone with a different sexual orientation, I want to see how they handle it. We still do not see very many strong female characters or just different races in films and things like that. So, and I mean, that's just another video entirely. I could go on a whole rant on how Hollywood perceives the world, but, you know, at the same time, there are some good ones to be found. Now, a lot of people that like mainstream movies tend to dismiss more artsy films, and I think a lot of it could be because they just don't understand it and they're not willing to take that chance. And I also think maybe because they're afraid of it, because it is so different from what they're used to, they're afraid that they may not understand it. And to that, I say, who cares? Just try it. Just try watching it and see how you feel because of it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, art films really scared me, but I was so intrigued by them. I may not have understood them, but there was something about kind of trying to figure out what they were trying to say that I enjoyed the challenge of it, and I still do. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I understand everything because I certainly don't. But what I like to do is just go in, not with any expectations or trying to pick apart something. I just literally, I watch it and I see how I respond in the moment, because sometimes you're just meant to experience something, and how you feel will give you a good indication of what the film is trying to say, or what it means to you, I should say. I like to think of movies almost like dreams when we go to sleep, because they are very, very similar. And, you know, even with dreams, a lot of times we have dreams with all kinds of metaphors and things that are disguised by things that are going on in our life, and they're all warped and in this weird puzzle, and we may not understand what they mean right away, but we know how we feel because of it. I mean, we may have seen something that grossed us out or freaked us out, and just based on how you feel, you can really kind of discover what the dream is trying to tell you. Movies are the same way. So I guess my point in all of this is that yes, I like indie movies and more kind of art films, but I can also be appreciative of more mainstream entertainment because I want to find the balance. I want to stay grounded. I want to be able to experience all that life has to offer. And I find it ridiculous that people are always fighting over this kind of stuff. I mean, you're not dumber or smarter than anyone just because you like something or dislike something, and people just get so riled up into that. I just say, shh, it's okay. Just take a deep breath, smoke a nice joint, wake up the next morning, and you realize it doesn't matter. What matters is what you feel, and that's it. Don't worry about what other people are thinking, because it's just going to drive you crazy. So yeah, that is my answer to that question. Thank you so much, Spider Neil. If anybody else has a question, please ask and maybe I'll answer it. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, the link is below, and you can also like my Facebook page and the link below that one as well. Catch you next time.